So I thought I would do this as I thought it was relevant to current events. We've had a suicide epidemic in this country that's skyrocketing. It's affecting young girls, everyone. My local community, there's a gentleman who took his own life. His name was Ray Ray. And from what I understand and everything I've read, he was a very kind person. I remember meeting him one time at a yard sale, actually. There are some things I want to discuss about if you operate or own a shop. What is expected upon you about the conduct of the individuals who work for you. If you have people working for you who are making, first off, if you're an employer and you get a complaint from an employee, it's your job to address it in a specific manner, not to act as if it doesn't matter. Now, I'm not going to speak like I know about what happened specifically with this gentleman and his work environment, but I can tell you about work environments. This is a very volatile work environment where people constantly pick at each other, where people are constantly unkind, and it's kind of a dog-eat-dog world in the mechanic field. I took a job at Goodyear as soon as I left the Marine Corps, and this younger guy there kept on every day picking and poking at me. And I was a new guy, so I took it pretty well in stride. Being a Marine, I'd been hazed. So when I eventually, though, this guy just took it too far, and it was F your wife, F your kids. And one day I just took his head and I bounced it off of a spindle and I kept beating him until he was on the ground. Now, when the boss came up to me, the boss had heard this guy every single day taunting and just not ever letting up. And I looked at him and I said, listen, part of this is your responsibility for not creating a work environment, and the other part's mine. But if you try to take me down over this, guaranteed I'm taking this whole business down, because you knew every single day that this was transpiring, and you knew I wasn't comfortable with it, but you let it go. And so what I think is important is that the business owners know that it's incumbent upon them to create an environment. Now, sometimes they'll say, oh, we're a big family here. And from what I've seen, very few shops that aren't fleet shops are ran like families. They're very individual. You're gauged on your own individual performance. So fleets are more like a family in that everyone's trying to get the job done. But from what I understand, this gentleman had some differences, maybe a special need or something to that effect. And I just can't for the life of me see why someone didn't stand up against evil and say something, if that did in fact happen. In a broader scheme, I've seen other mechanics who have taken their own life. And I can tell you that everyone has struggles in life, and to overcome them, you need to be able to put them in perspective. And this is a very temporary solution to a very, it's a temporary solution. It's a long-term solution to a temporary problem, rather. And so my point is this, to all of you who are having a hard time, don't be afraid to reach out to those around you who love you, and to those people who have the nerve to stand up for what is right. Stand up and stand up for people who are being bullied in your workplace, especially if your workplace is full of a bunch of guys. And sometimes I've seen these environments where the maturity level is a little better than a high school locker room, and that's not a place for a man to conduct himself. And that's not a way for a man to conduct himself in a professional business. And it's incumbent upon everyone in that environment to make sure that that's not happening. And if you have problems with this, you can always address these problems with the manager. And if they don't do it, then there's other channels that you can go through to make sure that you don't have a hostile work environment, because it's bad enough we have to go and do the work, right? It's even worse when we have to deal with assholes. So that's my 2 cents, and hopefully this helps. Anyway, it's my thoughts. Take care.